Picture this: two people, same age, same income, same city. 10 years later, one of them has $400,000 in net worth. The other has $12,000 in savings and nothing else to show for a decade of working. Same starting point, completely different outcome. And here's the part that surprises most people. The one who built $400,000 in wealth wasn't the one who avoided debt. It was the one who understood it. Because here's the truth most people were never taught. Debt isn't the enemy. The wrong kind of debt is the enemy. And in America right now, most people can't tell the difference. My name is Alex. If you've ever felt confused about debt, whether to pay it off, whether to use it, whether it's helping you or hurting you, hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Because by the end of this video, you're going to see debt completely differently. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth. Most Americans are carrying debt right now. According to the Federal Reserve's 2026 data, total household debt in the United States has crossed $18 trillion. Credit cards, student loans, auto loans, mortgages, medical bills. The average American household carries over $100,000 in total debt. And when most people hear that number, they think one thing: debt is destroying America. But here's what that number doesn't tell you. Not all of that debt is the same, and the people who understand the difference between the two types are quietly building wealth while everyone else is just trying to survive. There are only two kinds of debt in the world: debt that takes money out of your pocket every month and gives you nothing back, and debt that puts money into your pocket or builds an asset that grows over time. The first kind is called bad debt. The second kind is called good debt. And the gap between them is the single biggest financial divide in America today. Let's talk about bad debt first, because this is where most Americans live. Bad debt has three characteristics. It carries a high interest rate. It funds something that loses value. And it gives you nothing in return except the monthly payment. The most common examples in 2026 are credit cards, payday loans, and auto loans on depreciating vehicles. Here's what bad debt actually costs you in real numbers. The average American credit card balance right now is $6,501, according to TransUnion's 2026 data. The average credit card interest rate is 24.6%. That means if you carry that average balance and only make minimum payments, you will pay over $9,000 in interest alone before the balance is cleared. And it will take you over 17 years to pay it off. You borrowed $6,500. You paid back nearly $16,000. For what? For things you bought years ago that you probably can't even remember. That is the math of bad debt. And it compounds against you the same way investments compound for you, just in the wrong direction. Now here's where it gets really interesting, because most people think the solution to bad debt is simple: just pay it off and never use debt again. But that thinking is exactly what keeps the middle class stuck, because there is another kind of debt, and the wealthy have been using it for generations. Good debt has three characteristics. It carries a low or manageable interest rate. It funds something that grows in value or generates income, and it returns more than it costs over time. The most powerful examples in 2026 are mortgage debt on appreciating property, business debt that generates revenue, and, in some cases, student debt that leads to a significantly higher income. Let me show you the math on good debt, because this is where the story gets powerful. Imagine two people. We'll call them Marcus and Daniel. Both are 30 years old. Both have $60,000 saved. Marcus was taught that debt is dangerous. He keeps his $60,000 in a high-yield savings account, earning 4.5%, and rents an apartment for $1,800 a month. He never wants to owe anyone anything. Daniel uses his $60,000 as a down payment on a $300,000 home. He takes on $240,000 in mortgage debt at 6.5% interest. His monthly payment is $1,517, actually less than Marcus's rent. 10 years later, let's run the numbers. Marcus's savings account has grown from $60,000 to about $93,000 at 4.5% annually. He's also paid $216,000 in rent over those 10 years. That money is completely gone. No asset behind it. Just receipts. Daniel's home, using the national average appreciation rate of about 4% annually, is now worth approximately $444,000. His remaining mortgage balance is around $208,000. His equity, the wealth he's built, is roughly $236,000. Same starting money, same 10 years. Marcus has $93,000. Daniel has $236,000. The difference isn't income. It isn't luck. It's that Daniel used good debt that built an asset, while Marcus avoided all debt and had nothing to show for his rent payments. Now here's the part most personal finance content skips over. Good debt doesn't just mean mortgages. The second most powerful form of good debt in 2026 is business debt, or more specifically, borrowing to create income. According to the Small Business Administration, small businesses that accessed strategic financing in their first 3 years were 30% more likely to survive and grow than those that bootstrapped entirely. Because sometimes, the right amount of debt at the right moment is the difference between staying small and scaling fast. Think of it this way. If you borrow $20,000 at 8% interest to buy equipment that generates $40,000 in new annual revenue, that debt is printing money for you. The cost is $1,600 a year in interest. The return is $40,000. That is not a liability. That is a lever. This is how the wealthy think about debt. Not, how do I avoid it? But, what return does this debt generate? And does that return beat the cost? That question, what return does this debt generate, is the most important question in personal finance. And most Americans never ask it. Now let's talk about the dangerous middle, because this is where most people get confused. Student loans. Student loans in 2026 are the most complicated form of debt in America. And the reason is simple. They can be good debt or bad debt, depending entirely on what they funded. If you borrowed $40,000 for a nursing degree that pays $75,000 a year, that is likely good debt. The return on that investment is clear and measurable. If you borrowed $80,000 for a degree in a field with average starting salaries of $35,000, that is bad debt wearing the costume of good debt. The math doesn't work. And millions of Americans are living that math right now. According to the Education Data Initiative, the average student loan borrower in 2026 carries $37,574 in debt. But the outcome depends entirely on what that debt purchased. The degree itself isn't the investment. The income that degree produces is the investment. So here is the framework that changes everything. Before you take on any debt, ask 3 questions. Question 1. What is the interest rate and what is my guaranteed or realistic return? If your debt costs 24% and your return is 0, that is bad debt. Walk away. If your debt costs 6.5% and your asset historically returns 8 to 10%, that might be good debt worth considering. Question 2. Does this debt fund something that grows in value or loses value? A mortgage on a home in a growing market grows. A car loan on a vehicle that loses 20% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot loses. Question 3. What does my monthly cash flow look like after this debt? Good debt should never strangle your monthly budget. If a mortgage, business loan, or any debt leaves you with 0 breathing room, the timing is wrong, even if the debt itself is good. Now let's bring this back to the 2 people we started with. The one who built $400,000 in 10 years wasn't reckless with debt. He was strategic. He used a mortgage to build equity. He used a small business loan to grow his income. He paid off his credit cards in full every month and never paid $1 in credit card interest. The one stuck at $12,000 wasn't irresponsible either. He just never learned the difference. He avoided all debt, including the kind that would have worked for him, and spent a decade paying rent with nothing to show for it. Meanwhile, his credit card balance quietly grew because life happened and he had no system. Same income, different knowledge, completely different outcome. Here is the simple framework to carry with you. Bad debt, high interest, funds, depreciating assets, gives nothing back. Eliminate this aggressively. Good debt, low to moderate interest, funds, appreciating assets, or income-generating opportunities, returns more than it costs. Use this strategically. The goal is not to be debt-free. The goal is to be bad debt-free and good debt-smart. Because in 2026, with mortgage rates at 6.5%, stock market uncertainty, and inflation still reshaping the cost of living, the Americans who understand this difference are the ones quietly separating themselves from everyone else. 5 years from now, 2 versions of you will exist. One who avoided all debt, stayed in a renter's cycle, and watched inflation slowly shrink the value of savings sitting in a bank account. And one who learned the difference, used debt as a tool, and built real assets that compound in the background while life continues. The difference between those 2 versions isn't income. It isn't luck. It's one concept understood clearly and applied consistently. If this video helped you think about debt differently, hit subscribe. And I want to know, what type of debt are you carrying right now? And do you think it's working for you or against you? Let me know in the comments, because sometimes one honest answer down there changes someone else's financial life completely.